So, okay, so yeah, so it was hurting a lot to be able to draw, and I needed to make bills. So I started taking commission work for some of my portraits, and I did well enough to be able to cover Christmases and not get too far behind. Come a long way since. Uh, every job though that I've taken since the injury, I've ended up losing because of the injury, because it's not just my shoulder anymore. It's my shoulders. There's nerve damage down my arm, up and up here, through the side of my face. There's injury to this side as well, but not near as bad as this side. And on the shoulder blade is where the initial injury was. It comes down around the ribs, down the hip, and from the hip right straight down my leg. The round wraps around the front and comes down the back. Get burning at the bottom of my foot, tingling, pins and needles, depending on what my body decides to throw at me each day. And right now I have a really bad cough, and no, I don't have COVID. My daughter also has the cough, and so does my husband. And all three of us are better after we take an allergy pill. So there is an allergen somewhere in our apartment that I have yet to find to eliminate. So we just keep taking the allergy pills and trying to find the source to get it out of here. We think that it's glue that I've been using in my pouring medium for my newest adventure in fluid art. So I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks without using it. Nothing new gets opened, and we'll see if the cough goes away. If it goes away, I have a problem because I am seriously enjoying fluid art. I am having so much fun with it. Um, when I detail the things that I've done over the years, I will put a little bit more explanation into that and what I've done and what I've loved about it. But trust me, it's fun. And I mean, it's the most like me I've felt in years. Uh, to go from the thing that helps you relieve stress to being the thing that causes you the most pain in the day, it was very depressing. It hurt a lot. And when you add on top of that I was doing it with a young child, because my second daughter had been born, just she was not even a year old when I started doing portrait work for commission to get through Christmases. And I mean, she didn't like the fact that I was doing the whole work from home thing. She would throw things at the drawings and almost always end up having to restart the work because of splattering juice or milk all over it from her bottles or her sippy cups. And when she started walking, it didn't matter how high up I put those things or how well I tried to hide whatever I was working on, she'd find a way to try to help color it in. It became a source of anxiety. So, on top of it causing me pain to do it, it was causing me anxiety to have anything out and around. So, I decided that I was going to have to stop doing commission work until she was old enough to be better able to tolerate me working from home. So, that led to me having a number of years where I did nothing and I had no stress relief, no get away from the anxiety, nothing to help with that at all. And it was pretty hard, pretty brutal. It did a number on my mental health. I was very angry all the time and very quick to snap at people for, well, lots of things. Um, and I was getting pretty difficult to deal with, pretty difficult to live with, and I know that. And I do everything that I could to not be that way, but keeping in mind constant pain. I'm a very outgoing person, but I can't even handle going for groceries in one trip. I have to break it up into several days in order to be able to get everything, because I can't just go to wherever I need to go and get everything in one day without spending the evening crying for pain. So I knew that there were problems in the way that I was living my life, but there was no way to change it because I couldn't be the outgoing artistic person I always wanted to be and always was able to be. I couldn't handle doing any of that. And it was taking a toll on all of us. So this year, I was trying to think of what am I going to do for Christmas. I've given so many portraits to people over the years. Nobody's got any room left on their walls for portraits. And I don't have the money to just go and throw at Christmas gifts for everybody. And so I was looking for some ideas, and I saw something about fluid art and Christmas ornaments. And I thought, well, let's take a look at that. So I went down, I priced out the paints, I priced out the equipment, and all the ornaments and everything. And I got thinking about it, it's like, it really wouldn't cost that much in the difference for me to buy the stuff, try it out, see if I like it, and get nice Christmas gifts for everybody. So I started out by just buying a little bit so that I could try it, see if it was something I was even good at. I just had so much fun. I was out a couple of days later looking for more ornaments to work with, more paint colors to try to work with, and it was so much fun. And it was the first year that I've made things for people for Christmas, and it was actually done before Christmas. So that says a lot in of itself right there. It did cause me some lower back pain. Sitting upright for extended periods of time does cause me a lot of lower back pain, but it didn't cause me as much pain in my shoulder as I had expected, because it's kind of a two-handed thing. I can't really hold the steering wheel with this arm for extended periods without there being a problem. So I kind of figured that using both hands was going to end up being a problem, but it really wasn't. I don't know if that's because it was a constantly moving and I was able to set it down and come back up so constantly up and down that it never really gave it a chance to be strained by being in that one position for the prolonged time, like driving. So that was that was all kinds of aspects of it ended up surprising me of how well it went, how easy it was, how happy it made me. I think this was the happiest Christmas we've had in like 10 years. So that was nice. Um, and and then I started doing some paintings. I had paint left. I started buying canvases at the dollar store and just started doing stuff and having a great time of it. It was the closest to me I've felt in a long time. But then the cough started up for all of us, and so now I'm taking a bit of a purposeful dry spell to see if it is the glue. Because if it is the glue, then obviously wintertime is not a good time for me to be doing something that requires the windows to be open. So we'll see how that goes. But the next video clip that I'm going to be doing will be detailing some of my older work. I'm not sure how long a clip it'll end up being, but I'll be showing some of my older work and bringing it up closer to some modern, talk about some of my influences and what kind of things I would like to see myself be able to learn to do. Because I think one of the most important things, like when you look back at how I was drawing stickmen by the time I was 11, 12 years old, still drawing stickmen. I never challenged myself to do anything better until somebody pointed out that I should be doing better. So I tried. So now I think to myself, I should be doing better. How can I do better? And now I have something to look forward to because I'm constantly trying to find that next step, that next thing that could make me a better artist, a more well rounded artist, more capable. I mean, as I am right now, I wouldn't want to teach somebody, mostly because I was never truly taught. I never had an art teacher who sat me down and explained certain rules. I had art classes where they talked about things in general, but most of my art teachers throughout the years were not themselves artists. I did have a truly talented artist in junior high, but she had a really strong accent, and I lived in a place that was not very tolerant, and many of the students were extremely mean. And she ended up having a mental breakdown and had to leave the school. And so the next teacher that was hired to replace her was also a very talented artist. But she, by that point, I was in high school and I only had two opportunities to take an art class. And the first one was at the same time as something else that was mandatory for me to take because of my academic level. So I missed out on the art class, which I really wanted to take. But I was able to take what I was told was the same art class the next semester or the next year, but it was taught by somebody else, not her. So I ended up taking an art class with the shop teacher, which I thought was going to be horrible because he even said himself he's not an artist. We get into the classroom first day, he's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to teach you. I'm looking to the internet, which was a relatively new thing to our area back then, to try to find ideas for what to have us do. And this is the one thing I will truly give him absolute bow to him powers. And I have to credit him for it. He was very good at finding ideas and things that we could work on that were not considered atypical. He was fantastic at finding things that he was capable of teaching. And I still came out of that having learned a lot of different types of art that we would not have learned if I was in the other teacher's class. We did a fair amount of woodworking, not a lot, but not the woodworking, like we didn't put together a step stool. We didn't make a spice rack. We didn't do anything like that. But we did make a sandbox that we used to make sand impressions that we poured plaster into to create scenes that we then turned into, painted and turned into a nice little castaplayer. Yeah, we also tried to do plastering each other's face, but I missed that day. Apparently somebody had problems with taking it off. They didn't have enough stuff on them. I don't remember how that went, but I wasn't there that day. But a lot of people had a lot of fun with that class. Even though he wasn't a traditional art teacher, he still managed to teach us things about art and how to think about it from a different angle. And that was fantastic. I give him lots of credit for that. I think he also taught us something about blueprinting that year, but I did learn about blueprinting from him in another class, and that was fun. I actually, for a little while, thought I was going to go into architecture, but I wasn't really good at the math, so we'll get onto a lot of that stuff. I think I actually have some of my blueprints still. Maybe I'll show some of those. But anyway, that will be the end of clip one. And clip one Clip 2 will be probably shortly. All right. Have a good day.